Hi, I'm Tim. This is Timberway Designs. I started a series of videos where I take 10 rocks, 10 common rocks that anybody out there can find, and these come from a beach, a public beach, and I cut them in half and then see what's inside. And then I'll take one half and I'll make a cabochon out of that. Because when I'm looking for these rocks, I'm actually looking for rocks to make cabochons out of, so I'm kind of fussy. I just don't start just picking rocks up and throwing them in my bucket. Now, if you see this right here, this is from years of playing in the sun, and I had to go to a dermatologist, and they just took a chunk out of there to check it out, make sure it's okay. He wasn't really concerned about it, but if you can see that, that's what that's all about. So I got 10 rocks here. Let's take a look at them. So I think we got a pretty neat selection of rocks this week. We'll start at the top here. This is a piece of granite. You can see the feldspar and the quartz in there. Not a lot of mica though. Get it wet. I thought, there's a little mica right there. I thought this would make an interesting cut. I kind of like the color. And granite, lately, if you've been watching the series, I've been getting some really good shines off the granite. This one here, piece of quartz. I did a scratch test. If you can't scratch it with a steel knife, then it's a quartz. It's not calcite. So I'll get it wet. So what I'm kind of hoping with this, with these green cracks in here, or voids, filled voids, I'm kind of hoping they kind of go through there, kind of like dendrites. And dendrite's kind of like a little tree branch looking growth inside of a rock. So I'm hopeful that that goes through there like that. We'll find out. And I'm really curious about this one here. This one's got some a lot of stuff going on inside of it. I'm hoping, like there's a little knob of quartz right there, that the red streaks are jasper and they kind of go through the rock. I think that would really make a good looking cabochon. So there's the, like that. Hopefully it's not all fractured up, but we'll find out. So this is a piece of unakite. Get the focus, there we go. And that's epidote, and basically it's a mixture of epidote, feldspar, and mica in varying amounts. And I love unakite because it finishes nicely. It got so many different patterns and textures, and it's fairly common rock up here. We find this quite a bit. Now this right here, I'm really curious about this. To me, I think this is banded ironstone, and there's a lot of hematite in this. The jasper, there's jasper and hematite. And I'm really kind of hoping this thing will shine up, have a metallic shine to it. Yeah, I'm having a hard time focusing. There we go. I think that's just gorgeous. You can see the hematite right here. This looks like a conglomerate, or maybe even a breccia. And it's like rhyolite in quartz. Might even call it a migdaloidal, but we'll find out when we slice it open. But like I said, I'm always hopeful there's something growing on the inside, you know, like this right here. If that transferred all the inside, it makes some really cool looking cabochons. So this is a piece of granite with big chunks of feldspar in it. Actually, you could probably just call it feldspar and quartz. And in the feldspar, when you find that, it's got kind of a shiny plane to it. Let's see if I can hit a couple of those there. And I like feldspar because it shines beautifully. I've never had a problem with it, but this is really cool because it's had big chunks of feldspar in it. So I'm kind of hoping this stuff kind of transfers through the whole rock. Okay, we got a little amygdala oil here with some quartz. And it's got some green stuff. Now I don't know if that's epidote or something else, I'm not really sure. But I think there would be a cool pattern hiding in there. Got another piece of banded ironstone here, jasper, hematite, and this one's got quartz running through it. I think it's quartz. I'm hoping it's not fractured on the inside, and that'll make a really nice looking piece. And finally, we got this little piece of quartz here. It's got a chunk of mica here and there, and some good looking pattern. Yeah, I think that'll they'll split that in half, and I should be able to get a nice cabochon out of that. So there you have it, 10 rocks, common beach rocks. Let's go downstairs and come in half and see what's inside. All right, we're down here on my 10-inch high-tech slab saw. It's got a sintered diamond blade, which is absolutely not sharp. I'm rubbing my finger on it right now. So don't even cut the glove. So we're going to dress this up, i.e. sharpen it. And I use an old grinding disc to do that. So let's get that going and we'll start cutting these rocks in half. All right, first up we got this piece of granite. I'm just going to run it right down the middle. Okay, first one. I'm kind of hoping for some good pattern in here. Ooh. I don't know what that is there. That's interesting. That don't even see it on the outside. All right. Okay, this is the one I was kind of hoping there'd be some dendrites or some veins of this green stuff in there. I'm thinking I'm just going to slab it off at the end right here. Alright, here we go. Ooh, okay. That would have been a lot better if it went all the way through there, but I can work with that. Alright, we've got this piece of banded ironstone. Thinking cut it crosswise. So I'm going to make a deep cut across here because I want some of this red stuff in here. Alright, let's see what we got. Ooh. Liking that. Okay, we got this briqueated. I think I'm going to cut this end cap right off here because that's probably why I picked it up, was because of this. See what kind of pattern we got here. Yeah. Kind of busy. Okay, good old unikite. I'm thinking I'm going to cut it like that. I'm going to take off this edge right here. Right. Ooh, I like that. Wow. Okay, we've got this piece of banded ironstone. I'm going to take it right down the middle. I always like these. Hope it's not cracked all up. Ooh, and the quartz runs right through there. That's cool. All right. Now this one here, I've been thinking about how I'm going to cut this even when we're coming downstairs to cut it. So I think I'm just going to take this end off right here on this side of this drop off here. All right, are we successful? Ah, yes. And it's nice and smooth too. I don't feel any cracks, and I don't see any cracks. Alright, this one's got this green stuff going on in here. A piece of amygdaloidal. And I'm going to take it, I'm going to split it right through, oops, I'm going to split it right through there. Good cut. See what's inside. Alright. Got a little bit here and there of the green stuff. I don't know if that's epidote, probably, but I'm not sure. Alright. This one here. And I think I'm going to take it down this long axis and do it like a slab cut here. So, is the pattern just as cool on the inside as the outside? Let's look. Ooh, got epidote in there too. Yep. That is going to make an awesome cab. Finally, got this piece of granite here. I think I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to take it, do a slab off this side right here. Okay, final cut. This is number 100 rock I cut here since I started this series. Let's see what it looks like. That'll be nice because granite shines beautifully. So I like the pattern inside there. So a couple things here. When I'm cutting these rocks, you see my fingers at the end. There's no way that blade's going to touch my fingers besides it not being as sharp anyways, because this cut here probably took almost 2 minutes, so don't worry about me running my fingers across the blade, plus the blade's not sharp anyways. So, yeah. And then the other thing, you'll see a lot of the other people when they, on the YouTube channels, when they cut their rocks, they roll them back and forth like that. The reason I don't do that is I want a smooth cut, because every time you move this rock, you're going to leave a blade mark in it. And I'm trying to keep the backside of the cab with the least amount of blade marks I can. So that's why I just push mine through. I don't roll mine. Alright, we got some really nice looking rocks here. Let's go upstairs and look at them a little closer. So we just come back from downstairs cutting rocks. Got a bag of really cool looking rocks in here. Let's take a closer look at them. So this is the selection of this week's rocks. And as I was cutting them open, I was really amazed by pretty much all of them. So we'll start in no particular order here. We'll pick this guy up first. Gonna rinse the crumbs off a little bit. Piece of quartz with some green dendrites, or no, I wouldn't say dendrites, stuff growing in there. Almost look like dendrites. I was really impressed that it went in there. I wish it would have went in all the way, but I'm not complaining. I'll probably make a cab out of this side here and I'll be on the edge, but I think if I make a cab out of the rest of it, I'm probably going to cut this side off here like that. So, and I think that'll shine really nice. So, yeah. Okay, it's amygdaloidal rhyolite. Get the crumbs off here. Now, the green, you know, anytime you see green on the beach, usually up here it's epidote. But in this case, I'm not positive. It could be something else. But it didn't penetrate like I had hoped, but the pattern with the quartz looks really nice. And I scratched this too and with a knife, and I didn't get any scratches. It didn't scratch it up, and so usually I'm going to say that's a quartz. Yeah, I like the pattern there. That ought to make an interesting cabochon. Okay, this one here. I'm really impressed with this one. Now you can see why I picked it up. But it's got streaking epidote running through it. That is so awesome. I can't wait to make a cabochon out of this one. I think this is just going to really be nice. This one might be my favorite going into this batch here. Had this little quartz here, or quartz granite. And that, I like the pattern in there. And this dark thing there, I don't know if that's mica. It don't shine like mica, but I can feel it just a little bit, but I think it might cab okay, but then you can't see it from this side anyway. So one side I'll probably cab. I'm not really sure yet. I got to think about it. It's got an awesome pattern running through there. This one here I'm hopeful for too. It had all these red crevice streaks and stuff, and I was kind of hoping it wasn't fractures, and it's not. You know, they were fractures, but they're all filled in with mineral now. I'm pretty sure that's jasper, at least up here anyways, it's jasper. And that'll be an interesting stone when I get done with it. Oops. Okay, we got a piece of unakite here, and like I always say, unakite usually never disappoints. So there's the outside. You can see there's a lot of epidote and feldspar in there. But man, look at that pattern. That is so it's just in there thick. The epidote is, the green stuff. That is so neat. So that'll make an awesome cabochon. We got a piece of granite here. Really nothing too special, but like I said before, granite usually shines really well when you polish it out. And there's some interesting stuff going on here. It's not too plain Jane, but it's not a dazzler either. But it'll make a pretty cabochon. Now this guy here, I'm hoping, got a lot of hematite. Got some red jaspers, banded ironstone. If I can get it to focus, there we go. That's really pretty. And I'm hoping the hematite, there's a lot of it in there, we'll get a nice metallic shine out of it. Come on. So I'll probably make a cabochon out of this side here. But yeah, that's I think that's going to be a winner there. And this here, I think this is from the blade. That's not part of the rock right there, this line you're seeing here. That's probably part of the sawing process there. And I like picking these up too, because when you're out rock hounding, these things really glow when they're in the surf, the reds in the sunlight. A lot of problems with these is they'll get fractured up pretty bad, but I think we're good with this one here. I think we got a winner. I mean, I see a little bit on this side here, but I'm not too concerned about it. And there's a little pitting in with the quartz. You can see a little pit right there, but we'll work around that. And this one here, I was kind of hopeful. I mean, there might be more stuff buried in here. You know, I just cut the end that was all briquetted off, all smashed up. And there's got a little orange going right there. But the pattern's interesting, and it appears to be a pretty solid rock. So we'll probably make a cab out of this side here. You know, I'll cut this up some more later on to see what else is living in there. So there you have it, episode 10. So there you have it, 10 common beach rocks that anybody can find. I'll make cabs out of these rocks, and then these cabs will appear in episode 11. So now I got the cabochons from episode 9 from the South Dakota rocks, and we're going to take a look at those. So here are the 10 rocks we cut in episode 9 that were found out in South Dakota on public land. So first we had this one here, And it was just, I mean, like I said in the video, you find these things and they just look like they're really nothing. But then when you cut them in half, you get these really wild designs and colors and everything. So this is the cabochon we made out of this rock here. You see, it had a couple little owies, but you can't really feel them. Yeah, the shines you get from these rocks are incredible. They're you can't beat it. You know, these are all very hard rocks. There's the back. I just smooth the back. I don't polish it, so you might see some saw marks in it. And then I cut the edges. And there's the front. And there's the two rocks side by side. Okay, this is a piece of petrified wood. And I guess generally when I pick up petrified wood out there, I mean, it looks like it just came off a log here on the outside, but the inside, I usually don't see the annular grains very well in there. So this is the inside of that, and this is the cabochon I made out of it. And you can see there's some little grains on the edge here. It's not like looking at a chunk of lumber at a big box store, but it just, I can kind of see it a little bit. But man, another one, it just shined up beautifully. There's the back. There's the front. There's both of them. Okay, this is one of the, actually they're all prairie agates, but this is the one that actually had fortifications of wiggly lines in there. You know, look at that. And then I cut it, it's got red inside of it. You would never notice that when it was just laying there. And this is the cabochon I made out of it. Right there. Nice shiny red streak at the back. There's the front. And there's the original rock. Piece of jasper. Actually, you could see the red, but it just had a lot of interesting topography going on in there. So here's the cabochon I made out of it. Nice shine. Little quartz pop up in there. At the back. Here's the front. Here's the original, one half of the original rock. This one here is quite ragged, and I was a little concerned that I wasn't going to get it was just going to bust all the pieces on me. But it had some really interesting patterns in there, and it had a lot of cracks too. But it made a really pretty cabochon. There's a cabochon. Nice shine. Nice pattern. There's the back. Here's the front. There's the original rock and the cabochon I made out of it. Now here's a heavily fortified prairie agate. And you know, when I first went out there and picked these things up, I had hoped that this is what the inside looked like too. That's just not the case. I mean, they're pretty on the inside, but they just don't, the lines aren't in there. So it still made a beautiful cabochon though. There's cabochon. I mean, you can kind of see the lines. You know, if I laid this cabochon outside for a couple thousand years, they'll turn black, but I ain't got time for that. There's back side, front side. Nice and shiny. There's original rock. There's cabochon. If I can get one of them to focus here. There. All right, this one here, you know, it's one of them things you have no idea what's in them. Piece of jasper, but I was kind of hopeful that there was some kind of pattern going on there, but I'm going to call this the blah one because there was nothing going on except fractures and no pattern, all kind of the same color. And it's just the way it goes sometimes. So there's your rock. There's your cabochon. This little guy here had that pattern inside of it. Actually, when I was cutting it, you could see that this pattern on the outside, and I figured it went all the way through anyways. Then again, it made a beautiful cabochon. You got a good chunk of the pattern here. Nice shine on it. There's back side. There's front side. There's the original rock. There's another one of the prairie agates that had all the fortifications on it. This stuff just runs everywhere. But like I said, the dark, the dark does not penetrate it. I mean, it's got lines and stuff in there, but it's not the same as it is on the outside. So there's cabochon. Nice shine. There's lines in there, but they're just not as pronounced as they are on the outside of the rock. There's back side, front side. There's both of them. Finally, we had this little one here. And some stuff going on there, but what it had was, it looked like, and it got a little sparkle to it too. It had these little, I don't know, look like little fuzzy balls in there, tiny, real tiny ones. I don't know if I probably can't get that on here, but it does come out in the cabochon. You got the sparkles, and then you got the little round balls in there. It's kind of hard, probably hard to convey on this camera here, but they're in there. And the fractures, you know, they are fractures, but I think they've healed because I can't feel them with my, when I drag my fingernail over them. And I thought this one was kind of cool, because I'm going to be making more cabochons out of this, because I think the lighter color opens up even more as you go inside the rock. So you'll get a little more of that in the center and then the red around it. But it's still a really neat looking cabochon. So there you have it, some really nice shiny cabochons made out of rocks from public land on South Dakota. Petrified wood, but most of it's just jasper and quartz and chert. So yeah, I think they came out well. So all these rocks will end up on my Etsy page, and what I usually do is on the description it will be what episode they were cut in. So if you want to go back, you can actually see the rock being cut. So check it out. So I took 10 common rocks anybody can find on the beach. I cut them in half to see what was inside, and I think this episode, well, all episodes, but this one we had some exceptional looking rocks on the inside. And then I showed you the cabochons I made out of the previous rocks, the South Dakota rocks, just to show you I actually do stuff with these rocks. I just don't cut them and chuck them in a bucket or chuck them outside. I'd like to thank my subscribers. I really appreciate you coming back and watching the content. And if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. It's free. You just click on it down below. And if you want to slide over and give me a thumbs up, I would appreciate it. And if you want to ring the bell, go ahead. You know, if you know, it's supposed to notify you when the content shows up. I just, you know, I appreciate everybody watching, and I hope you guys, folks out there, find this interesting. I do. I really like doing this a lot. So that's all I got. I'll catch you later.